Hey friends, welcome to Django Model Unleashed series. So as part of this series, we were covered so far about the how to create the models, and we saw various field types. We then give an example. Also, we saw how we can migrate the data into MySQL database and how the data looks like between front end versus back end. All this stuff we have been covered so far. And last video we were discussed about the many-to-many field, and so as part of the continuation we're going to discuss about the many-to-many field with a new keyword called through. Through is a it's a kind of arguments. Okay, let's jump on. So as I mentioned earlier, right, as part of this entire series we are pretty much taking the Django documentation as a reference, and we are trying to implement each and every step one by one, and we'll try to implement the projects maybe at I mean as per the separate video. We can do it with the entire end-to-end projects, but as of now we'll just stick with models itself. Excuse me guys. Okay, so and this many-to-many field, right, it has one more op, it will accept one more argument called through. So there is some necessity we may need. We have to traverse the relationship from one table to other table via other table. So what does it mean? If you see this example, right, so it has a person name and they have a group and they have a membership. So what they are given, the situation here is, consider in case of tracking musical group with the musicians belongs, right? So basically a person can belongs to many musicians, right? Because let's take any Hollywood or Indian any movies, right? The musician can also it's part of various groups. It's not only he going to stick with one group. So a musician can have can participate in various groups. Also, the groups can accept any number of musicians from different places, right? So basically, this is a many-to-many concept that we saw already, right? But I want to have, I want to see this musician belongs to which group, right? Um, in order to handle that, we need to have this through argument along with the separate table. If you scroll down a little bit here, we have the person class, and this has nothing but it's just a musician name, and it also we have separate groups. Let's say we have A, B, C groups, and this person musician can be a part of A, B, or any C, right? He can be any part of any group, right? And we want to track it, this person or this group created when, or or who invited this guy as part of this group. In order to traverse this stuff, we have to do all our um, relationship via this argument. If I if you provide this argument, this through, is a keyword and keyword argument, and this membership is nothing but this class model. So what will happen is we can able to traverse from the musician belongs to which group and he belongs to which membership group. So basically this person belongs to which membership group. That is the exact meaning of having the many to many field via through arguments. Okay, and one more key point is if you if you're gonna have this through keyword argument, then this through table or class should have to explicitly we have to mention these two class model in a foreign key here. So that's what um, we're going we're going to see the same example uh, in our blog app. We can even if we can do it in a blog app, but I don't want to uh, extend the different functionality as of so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with the same Django example for time being. Maybe once we started implementing the project, the blog project itself will try to implement all this concept as part of the real time. Okay, so what I did is I moved all my code to Visual Studio Code. I felt it is better than Sublime Text, so I started using Visual Studio Code. But it's up to you guys. You can stick with same Sublime, or you can use any editor, Atom, or anything, whatever you want. Okay, so I commented a couple of classes model which we saw in last video, right? Like toppings and pizzas. So we're gonna extend. So I can simply copy one by one so that we can take a look what is that. So we created the uh, person, or we can say musician, right? Musician, or we can stick with person also. So it has a default data. I mean, it has a field name called name, and we have been assigned to max length of 128. And of course, using the Dunter str method, we can able to see the what is the object string itself. And let's try migrate this. So Django, Python manage migration, and migrate, and run server. So since we added new stuff, we have to register in our admin page so that we can play around over there. Register person. We go back here, refresh. I should restart. It's restarted. Okay, now we can able to see the person. Let's say musician 1. Okay, let's keep for time being. Now, what they have given is class group. So this musician belongs to which group, basically, right? That's a key concept. So models dot model, and what is the name? So you can stick with same name, and can copy, or you can copy both stuff. Okay, so we have a name, basically what is the group name, and also this groups belongs to basically we want to know uh, when this group has been created and who invited or invite a reason for this group. So who belongs to this group? That is the basic concept of having this in an example. So in order to handle all this stuff, basically what we are saying is, hey, um, this is many-to-many field. So if you're using many-to-many field, we have to mention the respective class name, right? Respective class model name. So um, in this case, we want to mention, we are saying, hey, I want to have a many-to-many. Basically, a person can have uh, a musician can be a part of any group. At the same times, a group can um, have a many musicians. So one group can have many musicians. That is the concept, right? So so in order to handle that, so we have to mention what is our class model name. So we have given the class model name, and this model has to travels, or has to uh, it has to go via the membership table. So basically, if I want to know, hey, who is um, this musician belongs to which group, and also this group has been um, when has been created, right? Those stuff, if you want to get the information, then you have to mention this through. Or if you don't want to keep track those information, or if you don't want to travels like from musician to membership table, then you can get rid of this argument. This is not mandatory, right? That's what we saw in last video. So since we want to access the musician membership, everything at a single um, statement, we have to use this through keyword argument, and we have to provide what is the um, travels table. So you can copy this. I'm just copying again. Membership table models dot model. Basically, we also, if you provided the through keyword argument, then which means there is already two table has been involved, already two models has been involved. So definitely it is a mandatory, you have to provide those two model here as a foreign key. So in this case, right, we have used person group as a many to many. So in order to traverse this information, this these two column is not mandatory, but these two is very explicitly we have to define the foreign key for both person model as well as the group model. So it, if you're planning to implement such concept in your project, then make sure your through keyword argument class model should have all related class model as a foreign key in a in a respective model itself. So that is a important point here, guys. So, so we simply mention, hey, um, my person is a foreign key, and my group is also is my foreign key. So once you provided those stuff information, now we are good to um, proceed. Let's add this stuff in group and member. Let me copy this. So now we added group membership. Now we need to do the make migrations. And migrate. Let's take a look at the database level, what it actually does when we created the through connections, right? So that um, we'll have a practical example of having the MySQL database in place, right? So we can able to see what data model table looks like. If you see, we have now three table, right? One with person, one with membership, and one with group. It doesn't create any separate table like foreign key, like many-to-many field, which we saw last video. So basically, why it is not created separate table like um, like many-to-many field itself. The reason is now we are explicitly saying, hey, travels um, via this class model, right? So by default, Django will use that um, through keyword class model as an bridge table between the person and a group table. That is the reason you're not seeing any um, separate model for separate table for uh, having the mapping ID. So if you're not familiar with what is all about mapping table, then please take a look on the previous video about the Django model, which is um, many-to-many field part one video. That will um, that will give more clarity of what is bridge table, what is having the concept of having the mapping. um, Django will create the many-to-many. If you create a many-to-many field, Django will create a separate table as part of your migration. Okay, so let's take a look on admin now. Already we have a person which is called musician one. Uh, let's take a group, because if you want to, you cannot create, will not able to create membership directly, because membership is a part of person and group, right? Without person and group, there is no membership. So we have to create a group first. Let's say, um, let's say group A. Also, let me create group B. So now we have two groups. Let's take a look on membership table. Add membership, and musician one, he belongs to group A, and today's date, in the reason, just for fun, right? So because of having this through keyword arguments, right, you can able to easily access membership details of the given musician and group in a single table itself. That is the uh, advantage of having um, through keyword arguments, if in case if you are using many-to-many field as part of your models. So I hope you guys are having a little bit idea of about having the many-to-many field, which are having through keyword arguments, right? So if you're not having these through keyword arguments, then um, it is little bit tricky to um, fetch the data using the Django query set, and also it's having a little um, complex when you do the model manager and those stuff. And this will helpful when we want to have a two different functionality, which is dependent on third one, right? Then you can think of using this through keyword argument as part of this many-to-many field concept. Okay, so and uh, and that is what pretty much they gave. And this is we already saw in previous video how to um, um, create the object as part of the Django Python shell, and it's also all about how to retrieve, create the set, all the stuff. So you can play around with you guys. So in case if you have any doubt, we can. I will let you know the. I mean, I will help you on that comment section if you have any doubts. Okay, so as part of the series, what we gonna cover in another videos, maybe uh, Django model built-in validation and a custom validation, and we're gonna cover signals and a custom override method. So all and query set and model manager. So everything is related to models itself. Okay, we'll see you in next video. Thank you. Bye.